Welcome to the Fuller Tracy Monday audio commentary. This is Owen Tracy recording, and it is 4:15 p.m. that is Central Time. Today is December 19th, and today being Friday, it's the big picture, long-term audio and video for the various different asset classes. Now, considering that next Thursday will be Christmas Day and Boxing Day is on Friday, this is the last big picture audio until January 2nd. So we have quite a lot to cover. What we're looking at today is Cameco, and the share is still hovering here in the region of the 50-day moving average, and it's been quite a spectacular year for the nuclear sector generally. What we are starting to see now is that countries around the world are making big decisions. And perhaps the biggest of those is that they're giving free rein to big companies to come in and build data centers. And the most important of those is that they're giving those companies the ability to build their own power plants. Now, in the USA, that's not really a big deal. And we've had plenty of examples of companies doing exactly that. And that's primarily because building a power plant within a privatized market is really up to the company and its ability to serve its customer base. And having a captured or a private energy generation capacity is something that's been around for a long time, but it's not something that's been around in many other countries. What we saw in here this week was that Ireland ended its moratorium on new data centers. Now, that has been in place since 2021. And they put it in place because the speed with which data centers were being built and connected to the energy grid, then it was simply overwhelming the ability of the grid to keep up with that demand. And right now, data centers represent about 25% of the draw on the electricity grid in Ireland. So they changed the rules. And now they're going to allow data centers to be built, and those data centers will be allowed to have their own captive electricity generation capacity. And I thought what was interesting is that at least 80% of the energy that they use can't be from renewables. So that I thought was a rather interesting development. And then subsequently, what we also saw was that India has made a decision about new nuclear, and that is also going to be allowed to be built by the private sector rather than simply by the government. And that is also a very significant change. What it very clearly emphasizes is that if companies want to come to India and to build data centers, and they will be allowed to build their own nuclear power plants to power them. And if they want to then build nuclear power plants to provide civilian electricity, then that will be allowed as well. So obviously then this is going to be quite beneficial for nuclear construction, but also it opens up the potential that India will get inward investment, that offering companies to come in, give them an ability to create a utility without government interference or government ownership, and then have access to a burgeoning domestic market where electricity demand growth is a secular trend, then that's a recipe for foreign direct investment. But I think a lot of